Hello everybody, my name is Colin Robold and I am ready to begin on the first part of the reason I made my channel, to help other people understand how to do 3D animation or 3D modeling, whichever they want to do. And as you may have heard from one of my other videos, the goal of my channel is to help other people become a game designer if they wish, or if they just want to watch videos that I put up, because I'll be putting up several kinds of videos, such as like arts and crafts kind of stuff, sketching, some let's play videos, some game reviews, um, things like that. And the main goal for me is to become a game designer, and most of the time we'll be practicing 3D animation and 3D modeling, and I would like to have other people join me if they wish, so that there can be a little bit of a community here that could discuss our progress. So here we have the Blender program. If you don't know what Blender is, that's what we will be working with. You can go to Google and type in Blender 3D, and this is a open source program, meaning it's completely free, and there's no risk to it. There's several thousands of people that use this. And after you type in Blender 3D, go to the Blender home. This page doesn't always work for me, but if it doesn't work, you gotta wait a week for some reason, and it just randomly works. A little weird, but yeah, my computer's a little slow right now because I have an hour-long video here, half an hour-long video here, and I'm trying to upload a video, and I can't watch either of those videos until that's done uploading. Okay, so here's the main website. This is a really cool website. You can, if you don't really care all that much, you can go up here and download it for yourself. Like I said, completely free, nothing to worry about, fun to do, easy to use. You can also check some other things that other people have done. The professionals of Blender put things up like Big Buck Bunny. Don't think I've seen these two. This one was called Sintel. But they got some really amazing things on this website. They even have some little tutorials and things like that. And so once you got it downloaded, you can open it up and you'll see something kind of like this. Go ahead and just click away from that. You will actually be seeing this. This is your default cube, and it always starts when you start a new project, unless you set it not to do so. So I'm going to go through the basic controls here. The point of this video is to show you the interface mostly. Blender has a lot of keyboard shortcuts that would be good to write down. If you had like a small notebook, in fact that's one of the things I'm doing. I keep a small notebook for some things on Blender. You can also look it up online. It's really easy to type in Blender keyboard shortcuts and you'll get an entire list. Then a simple Control F to find what you're looking for. But anyway, if you don't want to write a list, you can do this with me and it might help you. So let's start with zooming in and out. It's as simple as going up and down on the mouse wheel. You would realize that you wouldn't really be sure how to turn the screen, because that's actually the third mouse button, which is the mouse wheel like this. If you push down on that, that's a button, and you can rotate around that. And if you hold Shift while doing that, you can actually pan the whole screen. So simple thing that you can do with just the mouse wheel. Zoom in and out, turn, and move around like this. And that should cover mostly of what you need to do as far as concerning what you're looking at. If you have something here and then something over there, you can move over to that. Yeah. So now to talk about the cube. One of the things that I did in my class that helps me understand Blender the best was the first project that we did that actually a surprising amount of people missed. Because when the class first started, it was like me and 3 other people in the class. But then after that project was done, we got like 5 or 6 more people, and they always had a lot more trouble. And so what we did that first day or two was we modeled a spaceship and animated it as well. So I'm going to try and guide you through that same process. Hold on, I want to hide that. So you have our cube here. You select things by right-clicking, like that. There's the camera, and then the cube. You just right-click them, it switches between them. You can hold Shift and select multiple things at once, and you'll see that it selects in between them. So let's see. Let's talk about some basic movements. Now, when you have Blender up, there's a little bar down here. It looks like I don't know what you would call that. It's the grid axis here. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. So, as I was saying, there's this little bit down here that shows a red, green, and blue line, all in different directions, such as the global axis here. And if you click that, you have three different options. You have the little arrow, the curve, and the ray. These all do different things. If you're okay with kind of a jumbled workspace, you can hold Shift and actually select them all at the same time. And I'll go through them one by one what they do. These are mostly for if you don't like keyboard shortcuts that well. This first one that is a pointer is for moving objects, and you can grab the little arrow and it will move it across that axis only. I can't drag it further up this way or further down this way. It will only be on that axis. Then Control Z to get it back in the middle. Then you can pull it this way, pull it up and down, and that covers most of your movement, and you can get it to be wherever you want. So if you use them all at once, you can push that this way, and then push it that way, and push it down, and you can get it to where you're trying to get it to. The next one that shows a curve is for rotating things, so you can rotate the cube along the axis. Then rotate it this way, and this way. Whee! And this one is for resizing the cube. Scale it this way, and scale it this way, scale it this way, or this way, or this way, or this way, and that way. And like I said, you can turn them all on at the same time. It's a little confusing, but it's possible. And if you want to delete something, you hit X, and it asks you if you're sure you want to delete it. Now, if you want to add something, the shortcut for it is Shift A, which goes to the Add menu up here. So if you don't want to do Shift A, you can go to the Add menu, hit Mesh. You have a plane, a cube, a circle, a UV sphere, which is a like a full circle that's three-dimensional. An icosphere, I think that's how you say it. We don't really use that one too much. Cylinder, cone, grid, monkey. This monkey has a name. Suzanne, that's what it is. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and add another square, or a cube. And so also, if you want to do those same basic movements, you can press G on the keyboard for grab, which grabs it and lets you move the mouse around and freely rotate it, and then you go ahead and click wherever you want it to go. You can hit R to rotate it as you're looking at it like that. And you can hit S to scale it in all directions like that. Now that seems a little can't think of the word, but it seems like you can't be as precise with it as these ones here. If you press G and look down here at your 3D grid or your global grid positioning thing, you can see what line is what dimension. The yellow one is the Y dimension. The Z going up and down is going up and down. and the X one is this red line here. Yeah, the blue one. If I press G and then hit Y, it locks it to that one, just as if you were moving it with the mouse, but it's a lot easier to get to sometimes than clicking on the green arrow, because sometimes you'll misclick and click on something else. Along with that, you can also rotate things by selecting the axis, and you can scale things by selecting the axis, just like that. See, I think that about covers that. And so now I'm going to show you. Well, that's like level 1 right there, because some people would come in and do something like that, and then add another block, and then try and move it and build something like this. And you can do that if you want, but I wouldn't really recommend it. It's actually much easier to do once you learn how to do the next step. Okay, so I'm going to get my cube back here because I just messed it up. And the next level that we're going to do here is pressing tab, which brings you into edit mode. In edit mode, you can edit the sphere more in-depth than you could in object mode. You can see the whole thing's turned orange now. That's a good sign. It means that the entire cube is selected. You can press A to deselect. A selects and deselects everything. And let's see. If you right-click the corners, you would be clicking on the vertices, and you can move the vertices as you wish, just like that. If you select 2, you can scale them and rotate them just as anything else. You can basically know that anytime you have something selected, you can grab, rotate, and scale it. It doesn't hardly ever matter what it is. If you select 4 vertices, you get a face, and you can move that up and down, scale it, and rotate, and all that. But this next thing that you can do with it is very interesting. Actually, I'm going to hit Control Tab, which would bring up my Mesh Select mode, where I can tell it to either select vertices, edges, or faces. You can also find that right here by clicking on it. But a lot of more experienced Blender users that are really familiar with the keyboard shortcuts are pretty lazy and don't usually like clicking down here very much. They like to constantly be working with what they're making. So now I'm in face selector mode. Again, that was Control Tab or clicking down here. And as you right click on a face, it will select those 4 vertices at once and show you that you have selected the face. This next part is really cool, and it's where a lot of Blender happens. It's simply by selecting something such as a face or an edge or something and pressing E. And this is called an extrusion. This takes that face or whatever you selected and extrudes it out into wherever you put it. So if I were to click there, you can see that cube came out a little bit more, and then I can even rotate that as I wish, scale it. And yeah, select this side, and I can extrude that, scale it down, rotate it the other way, and you can make some pretty wonky stuff if you want. So when it comes to modeling something, really the most important thing to know how to do is how to model in this sort of way, where you start from what you have and extrude it into what you need it to and shape it how you need it. And then say I wanted it to turn this way, I would rotate it so it would have a point like that. Then I would extrude it this way, maybe make it smaller right here, extrude it a tiny bit more, make it bigger. extrude it this way, grab it over here, and that's how you build. It's almost like sculpting with clay a little bit, that you just add more onto it as you wish. Also, when it comes to this, some interesting keyboard shortcuts that you would like to remember is on the numpad key, not on your regular numerical keypad at the top of your keyboard, but on the numpad keys on the very right. If you press 1, it shows you the front view, and as I just found out, I've been modeling this thing sideways. You press 3, it shows you the perspective from, it's called the right perspective, but it's actually looking from the left side. It's the left of whatever you're looking on. If it's a person and it's facing the camera here from the front perspective, this would be the person's left. Another one is 7, which shows you the top. The other ones in between are kind of buttons that you can use to quickly turn the screen like this, but don't really use those. Don't think 9 does anything. Let's see. If you're trying to select something that's in a... Oh yeah, you'll notice that, I think by default on Blender, the camera rotates around what you have selected. So right now it rotates around that, but if I select this, it rotates around that. If you're trying to select something that's behind a bunch of stuff and you can't quite reach to it, say you just need that one little vertex, you can press Z, and that goes into wireframe mode, where you can see everything except the wires, and then you can click on things through objects much easier, such as that. Press Z to get out of that. You can also find that down here. Wait, yeah, right there, wireframe. And let's see, anything else I should show you before we move on to part 2? You probably want to know a little bit about the camera. Wait, I do have something very important to tell you. If you build an object in edit mode, such as I have here, and you wanted to add something to it, like a ball on top or something, and you go to UV sphere and add one in, you know, place it nicely right there. If you left object mode, or left edit mode and went into object mode, you would see that they're stuck together. Now, that's usually what people want, and sometimes that's not what people want. Let's see if I get rid of that. There, that was not what I wanted. But I can still show you what I mean. You know, just kind of. Okay. So, if you're in edit mode and you add the object, whatever you just added becomes a part of this. So if we go to object mode, like I said just a moment before, it would be stuck to that. That looks kind of cool. Let's see, yeah. But if we go into edit mode and delete that, that was just a Control Z for undo, that was an actual deleting. So you've built your thing here and you want to add a circle separately. You go back to object mode and then add the circle, and it will be a separate object from this. Good to know. One thing you might not like about the circle is how it's go down. Go down. One thing you might not like about the circle is how it has this really... The Blender term for it is a flat look. You can see every individual square. Over here in your object tools, this is kind of some tools over here that, like you can see, we have our basic tools right here. I didn't even know that, and they're always right there. You got the rotation thing there. The problem with clicking up here is it starts what you're doing from here. Like if I hit scale, I have to start from that mouse position over there, and that's a little awkward. This origin one is kind of interesting, but we can get to that later. So over here you see shading. If you hit smooth, that will kind of round off the edges of whatever you're making and make it more round like that. Let's see what happens if I do it over here. It doesn't work as great on low poly things, but it does help give things a little bit more of a smooth look. Just like that. If you happen to click somewhere, you'll notice this thing moving around, and that's kind of annoying. This is called the 3D cursor. It doesn't do all that much in the basics of Blender, other than if I click over here and add something, it will spawn it over there. But if you want it to stay nice and neat in the middle, like you first were introduced with it, hit Shift S. I don't know if there's a place to click for this. The only place I know how to do this is in the keyboard shortcuts. And then hit Cursor to Center. You can also do that with other objects. Cube, if it was over there, Shift S, and then like selection the grid would get it stuck to the grid. Not stuck, but it would move it to the grid if it were up higher. Then Shift S, selection of the grid. Or maybe not. I don't know what that's doing. Selection of the cursor, that would take your selection to wherever the cursor is, just like that. I think that's about all we need to show you for the basics here. Let's see, object and edit mode. These other modes aren't important right now. Sorry, my voice is a little weird. It's early in the morning for me right now. It's kind of a summer bit for me, and I kind of got that morning voice. So yeah, that appears to be what we need. Say you make something and you want to take a picture of it for now, but you don't want it on this grid. You can press in, and this is a very common extra toolbar sort of thing. I think it's called the navigation area. I don't really know the names of these things that much, but you just gotta know what they do. But yeah, if you press N, that comes up. Press T to remove the toolbar. I'm not sure what you need to move the timeline. I think it requires like a shift space bar or something. Yeah, there we go. And then shift space bar. That like maximizes your view by taking out all these over here and the toolbar. Okay, so N brings this up, and let's see, the grease pencil. I can teach you that later. Somewhere down here is a display drop-down menu. You can take away the grid floor and then take away these, and then click somewhere else with the cursor. That orange dot kind of gets in the way. You can kind of do that, like select the camera and then hit H to hide it. Alt H unhides things. It's a very good thing to know, because if you hide things and you can't find them, it's pretty sad. If you want to know how to look from the camera's perspective, that is 0 on the numpad, and it goes into the camera. But it's a little tricky when trying to use multiple cameras at once, so try and keep it to one camera. And while you're in the camera with the camera selected, as you can see by the orange square, you can move the camera around. And see, scaling it does pretty much nothing. And rotating it is kind of funny. If you want to see what the actual thing looks like, the actual final result, you can go up here to render and hit render image, and it shows you what you're looking at. And hit escape. If you want to save it, you can either do like I was talking about, do a screenshot, or over here in the render area. That would be a little complicated. You might accidentally end up with 250 pictures of what you were working with. So let's talk about that in some other video. Just try a screenshot for now. Press 0 to get out of the camera. And I think that's about it for the basics. Okay then. So if you're wondering where I'm planning to go with these tutorials, I'm going to continue showing you the spaceship project where we make a spaceship. There's a much easier way than you're thinking right now, because there's something else that you don't know about. And after that, I am planning on showing you how to do textures and rig kind of at the same time. I wanted to think up something easy for I'm doing hand gestures here. You can just imagine me doing hand gestures. I wanted to think up something easy for new Blender people, new Blender Knights to do that could show them a little bit of the modeling aspect, a little bit about the rig and textures all at the same time. I did just remember something that you might want to know. Shift D, that duplicates things. Okay, sorry. Should have mentioned that earlier. So, what I was actually thinking on doing is, a lot of people love Minecraft right now, and it's pretty easy to imagine how simple it would be to make a Minecraft character in Blender. Don't know what happened there. Oops. While you're rotating something like this, you can also type in an amount, such as 180. So it'd be really easy to make a Minecraft character. I'm just doing a super fast thing right here to kind of show you, like, this is an arm, here's like a body or something. This is super fast, like I'm really hardly paying attention on that. But to make a Minecraft body would be pretty simple. Then along with texturing it would be really simple, because these are simple, very low poly figures, which are easy to start out with texturing. It's hard to texture things. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't even have to press G. If I hold down the right click, it moves it. I just learned something. I'm distracted. I'm sorry. If it's low poly, meaning there are a low amount of faces, you can see how many faces you have up here. Like my entire project here, this, and this, has 26 faces. To work with something like that for texturing is very easy to do and good for beginners. And then along with making a rig for it to animate the person would also be fairly easy to do. And so that's one way I'm thinking of going after the spaceship project. And I feel like there'll be a couple of people out there that won't like it that haven't played Minecraft. And I understand them, because I didn't want to play Minecraft at first either. But bear with me, if you will. I mean, I can try and get another project going at the same time. I had another project in mind that was a little bit more advanced. It was either to remake one of my characters in a video game, let's see, RuneScape. And the other idea that I could try and do with you guys is making Pokemon. As you can see, I already made one. I have a video for it. And this is with, like, full animation here. Except it's gonna lag all bad. You can see frames per seconds are only at like 5. I have a sand shrew under here that is supposed to dig out of the ground, but it's not gonna work right now. It's going all super slow-mo. Camera seeing. So yeah, we could also try and work on making some Pokemon if you guys are into that. I understand not everyone likes Minecraft, not everyone likes Pokemon, not everyone likes RuneScape. You can make whatever you want. That's one of the beautiful things about Blender. But for me to teach you, we got to work on the same thing. And sometimes if you look at tutorials on YouTube, which you can find plenty of, They'll show you how to make things like a car, a kitchen fork, simple things like that. But well, of course, the car is not simple. But the really simple things to make, I feel like they don't teach you very much. You have to have the complicated things like a Pokemon or a RuneScape character or possibly something about Roblox. Not Roblox. Wow, I completely forgot about Roblox. Something about Minecraft, except Minecraft isn't all that complicated, and that's why I wanted to start with Minecraft. You gotta have the kind of complex things so that if you run into those rare sort of problems, you can see someone else work around them and figure out how to get past the problem. And I feel that that's an important thing to know how to do. And the texturing here was really simple. In fact, this texturing style I had just learned how to do on this project. I'm going to just go ahead and pause and just move it with my mouse. Oh, that'll lag just as much. Anyway, if you want to see this video, click on this annotation here if I get around to putting one up. And I think I'm going to close Blender for now. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy.